All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Slice of Shonen Podcast. I am your host on the boat, Sailor. And this time we got a full roster back on the case. You know, it's going to be a fun time, man. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Make sure you guys like the stream. We really appreciate that. All that good stuff, man. Of course, it is not just me here. I have my Ensemble of Excellence with me. Let me run down the roster real quick. We have the Cooking Taco. Taco, say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
True. We have the Silver. Silver, say hello to everybody.
Hey everyone, glad to be back.
True. We have the me. Hey, how's it going? And of course, the Zenith Anime-Manga. Zenith, say hello to the people.
Hi, people.
True and true. The link to Zenith's channel and his Patreon will be down in the description. Make sure you guys go check that out. All that good stuff. Let me see here. Oh my god, I'm not even writing down the timestamps. Jeez, good thing I remember that. Housekeeping notes. I don't have anything too interesting this week. I've just been working on the JJK video or playing Street Fighter, so nothing too crazy in my neck of the woods. Fellas, is there anything interesting you guys want to go over? Any fun things? All that good stuff?
I don't have
Nothing in particular.
Not really. I just realized we were really lacking in manpower today. Like, we do not have a lot of people. C'est la vie.
Yeah, true. Okay, sorry. I just had to go reach my notebook and write down these timestamps. That way we can make fun of everyone else and make fun of them when they're late. They like to make fun of us. It's a long game. You know what I'm saying? It's a long game. See? 8 more people just showed up. You guys are late. Now, see? How does it feel? How does it feel? We're always on time, but you guys are the ones who are late. Type shit. I am here and count for 10 men. So real. Oh my god. Sky? Question mark?
Sky exclamation mark.
Whoa. Hi, Sky. Is there anything interesting that you've got going on? Any fun stuff?
No, my life is an unending cavalcade of boredom and misery.
God damn.
Okay,
All
well,
right.
damn.
All
I picked
right.
this fucking guy anyway.
All right, man. Jesus. Good. Glad.
Yeah,
to hear
I
you're
went to
doing
this.
things.
I went to the zoo last week, and I was told to never come back because all the animals killed themselves.
Wow.
Oh.
All right.
What the fuck
I didn't know they
happened?
could do that.
I went to the aquarium. All the fish drowned themselves.
Oh my god.
I mean, that
Why?
takes dedication.
What the fuck did you do, my guy?
I don't know.
He literally just
Yeah.
It's like that episode
I'm
of
sorry.
SpongeBob where his breath stunk.
Oh, okay.
That's fucked
Hey.
up.
Now, I might be depressing, unlikable, and unlovable, but I do not have bad breath.
Well, what the fuck are you doing to these fish for them to drown themselves, my guy? What else is going on
My
here?
question.
I don't know.
I simply do not know.
You don't know. That's
Hey,
fair.
man. That is very fair. All right. Well, if we don't have anything interesting other than killing our ecosystem going on, let's talk about these chapters.
Okay, hold on. The ecosystem killed itself. Let's- Everybody has a choice.
You know what? Fair. You know, hey man, everyone has a choice. Shouts out. Let's talk about these chapters, man. Let's start off with our usual suspect. First, we have One New Pisua, chapter 1149. Taco, I know you're in a rush, buddy. You got some food on the way. You got things going on. He's a busy man, our CEO Taco. You know, GG Incorporated needs him. So let us know real quick, how do you feel about this chapter?
Well, actually, interestingly enough, Sky was going to be our One Piece expert for the day.
Oh,
yes.
I did not know about this.
Well, last night he asked me if he could, and I was like, you know what, go right ahead. I'm actually really curious. So I want to know how Sky felt about today's chapter and how he feels about the ending, you know? Any good theories?
Yeah, well, so I think that the chapter was really good. I think seeing Scooper fight is
Yeah.
very exciting, because we've known about him for a whole long time, because he was, so I don't even have to say it.
Right, type shit.
Do you know when Scopper Gaban was first mentioned?
Yeah.
All right.
When was it actually? It
Yeah.
was like
Hey, man.
really early on, right?
That's a fair
Genuinely?
response.
I don't even know.
Yeah.
Fucking clue when he was first
Well,
mentioned.
yeah,
I know
that's
I knew
why.
he was shown.
Yeah, that's
like,
why
hella
I'm the
early.
One Piece expert today.
he was first shown in Buggy's flashback, but he didn't have a name in Buggy's
Yeah.
flashback. I don't know when his name was actually first said in the story.
That was a different nigga in Buggy's flashback, bro. Holy, that brother was ugly.
He was a flashback character. They're all different.
They're all
That's
ugly.
fair.
He's a One
Like
Piece
they are
character.
never
They're
the
all
same
ugly.
person when they show up.
I don't know what you're talking about. Kaido, when he was first mentioned in Enies Lobby versus Kaido and Wano, was the same person.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
bro.
I mean,
they look
the-
exactly the same, man. They
The
look exactly
design
the same.
was scary ass brick. That one scene pretty consistent.
Yeah, man. Kaido and Enies Lobby looked like a fucking DeMarco Black cosplay, bro. That motherfucker was not the same. Holy. Did you manage to catch some of Combo Breaker? I need them PS5 setups to be gone at least for chain 100 of them. Yeah, I agree, man. I was watching Combo Breaker when I was editing last night and when I was making the thumbnail this morning. I just exited out of it before we started stream. Yeah, it was pretty rough. When it happened during IDOM set, I thought it was a crazy form of karma, because IDOM beat the shit out of Just a Kid for his controller disconnect, and he said, well, I'm just gonna win, thanks. And then he just won. So I was like, the PS5 is now shutting down on him so he can lose. Damn, this is coming back to bite him in the ass. That's crazy. But then it shut down immediately next set. I was like, okay. And then it shut down immediately again, like 5 seconds after they started it up again. I was like, okay. So I am gonna check out the matches that I missed after we stream today. Hopefully I'll be, hopefully the stream will end by the time top 8 or whatever starts. But yeah, it's not looking good, bruv. It's not looking good.
Yeah, Sailor. See, so we got multiple people here have got places to be. So please let me take care of the One Piece discussion.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I kneel.
Yeah. So. Shit.
Take your time.
At the end, that's the exact opposite of what I should be doing.
What?
At the end of the chapter, you got places to be, and I'm trying to efficiently get across all the important stuff that happened in the.
If you need a place to start, you could talk about Road. That's pretty important.
Yeah, I think like mine will, Taco.
Okay, so
No.
Uh,
Stream's coming back. Sorry.
Oh, thank God. Thank God nobody was there to hear me.
I'm gonna be honest with
I don't know
you.
what just happened, man. Oh, God.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't really have a good theory for the end of the chapter, like who Gunko is in relation to Brook.
Well, didn't
Well,
Brook used to... Wasn't he like he was like a guard or some shit? Correct me if I'm wrong. Was he like a guard of like a kingdom before he became a pirate, or am I just like making that up?
Yes, something like that.
Was he?
Yes, yeah, because that's where his attack, the attack he does, the 3-pace hum / whatever the fuck it's like actually called. He learned that technique from the group that he was in the West Blue. He was I forget exactly what he was called, but he was basically like a guard or like a cop.
He was the leader of a royal convoy, someone in chat is saying. Okay.
Okay,
Shout out
yeah.
to Joseph Johnson. Saint Shady? Hold on now. Wait a minute. That kind of goes hard. I'm just reading what you said too. Hold on now. Wait a minute. Hold on. That's kind of crazy.
I think it's really interesting that we're getting new Brook backstory this late into the story.
I think it's really cool.
I think it's cool too.
As Brook is legitimately my favorite character in the series. I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's interesting because Brook is
Yeah, no, because like,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, it's just like at first I was trying to think like maybe it was like the daughter of like Yorkie or one of the Rumbar parts, but then it's like but then I had to double back on that because it's like no, she's too young for that because that was like 90 years ago. She'd be at least somewhere in her 50s. But then I remembered again, and it's like Saturn. And it was apparently alive 200 years ago, and it looked exactly the same. So if they're all immortal, then that could still work.
Yeah.
She's probably really old.
Yeah, she's got to be old.
Yeah, a lot older than she looks.
Well, Brook is in his 90s. Well, that's the interesting thing about Brook. Brook's one of the main characters. He's a member of the Straw Hat Crew. He's in his 90s or like late 80s. I'm not exactly sure. But everything we know about him, everything we've seen from Brook, only goes back to when he was like in his like 40s or 50s.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically lived an entire life before that. Like even before he became a pirate, like he had an entire life already. So that is like a huge portion. And I'm gonna be honest, I never thought we would see that stuff because I didn't think it would ever really be important. But clearly, it's Oda.
Clearly, it's a main plot point.
I thought it was just going to be references because like earlier in this arc, as a matter of fact, when they were figuring out like who are these random guys who are attacking the island, Brook was like, "Oh, are these God's Knights?" So it like to me it was like, Brook has been like around the block, so it makes sense that he'd at least hear some rumors about it here and there. So I thought it would
goddamn newspaper.
Yeah, right. So like I figured that it would just be like, Brook, he's got some history on him. So if we're not learning about history from Robin, it would be Brook being like, "Oh yeah, I heard here and there some rumors. I didn't think they'd be true though," something like that. But yeah, no, it's pretty integral now. That's pretty neat. I like that.
Also, this seemingly kind of confirms the theory that Gunko is not actually a celestial dragon. She was a commoner and then became a holy knight and got the rank of celestial dragon.
Yeah, she was. I mean, if we go with the whole, she was a part of the kingdom that Brook was, I guess, like a guard of, then who knows, maybe she could have been royalty there. But in terms of celestial dragon, yeah, I don't think that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the question is kind of like, why would she be, kidnapped, forcefully adopted into the God Knights if she was just like truly a commoner?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what drew their eyes to her?
There has to be a reason because Loki's technically a commoner, but he's not actually. He's the Prince of Elbaf, so Loki's a prince, and also he's just extremely powerful. So there's many reasons why the Celestial Dragons would want Loki to join the God's Knights. It's not like they're just asking fucking a random guy. There has to be something about Gunko that drew them to her.
Yeah, I'm not sure what it could be. I don't think so. Because I was like, ancient weapon, but I'm like, no, there's no way that was just chilling in West Blue.
It can't be, man. How many ancient weapons are just walking around these days?
There's only 3, but like if there was, I mean, we've seen an ancient weapon harvest in Alabasta, so like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe West Blue was just like that. I don't know.
It's one of the things earlier in the chapter that I thought was really funny was there was a lot of theories going around by lots of different people for a while that Sommers would be Robin's matchup because his Devil Fruit is like a hard counter to her Devil Fruit. Like it exactly counters it. Yeah. And he's basically immortal. And it was the idea that it was like, this would be a good matchup for Robin because this is an opportunity for her to grow and maybe learn like armament hockey or something, like be able to fight someone who is a direct counter to her. And it looked like we were going to get that because then she did end up, like they had the little skirmish or whatever in a couple chapters ago. And then this chapter, Robin's like, oh, I can't really fight, but I'll try to help. And Jinbei's just like, nah, don't do that. Your helper just doesn't work.
I mean, like, you never know as well, because a big point was made in this chapter by, like, Chopper and Usopp, like, wait, there has to be something behind it. Like, why is his attacks working? So, like, I imagine, fast forwarding a little bit, when Gaban takes his fall, I imagine he's gonna fall down to where Luffy and Ko are, and, Gerd's gonna patch him up. Gerd is ass, though, so she'll probably make sure he's patched up in, like, 75 years. So, like, Scopper Gaban is, like, out for this arc. Collun is in danger, so he's probably gonna tell Luffy and Ko, like, hey, this is how you gotta damage these guys. Please save my son. So Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, one of those guys could pass it on to the rest of the crew, and maybe that's how, Robin, maybe she does awaken some hockey this arc. But I don't know, if it's not directly tied to Conqueror's hockey, there is a shot. There is a shot Robin could get something done here, because I don't think Sommers is out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, like we did see at the end of the chapter, he was still alive. And depending on how long it takes for the others to climb back up, there is a chance he's going to recover. Because, like, I'm going to be honest, at this point, I'm almost convinced entirely that it's just Conqueror's hockey. It's like I feel like that's just the most reasonable assumption at this point. Which on one hand makes sense because, like, again, these are the Gods Knights. They're, like, supposed to be, like, this overpowered elite force. Or so it makes sense that just not any regular old hockey would be able to damage them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like you said, it's like if it is Conqueror's hockey, then that does cut out a lot of our theories for potential matchups in the future, because it shows that literally no one other than Luffy and Zoro is going to stand up to these guys.
Hey,
isn't
wait a minute, though. I was about to say Sanji stocks, they could be up. I don't know if Scopper has Conquerors.
I do think he's going to have Conquerors.
He's gotta.
Regardless, I think the thing that really limited, and I've talked to Taco about this before, but the thing that really limited, I think, our ability to predict final matchups was assuming that it would be like any normal arc where it's okay, who goes against this Straw Hat. But the final war is going to be it's going to be an event much bigger than the Straw Hats, and I think the final fights, like between like the Gods Knights and the Gorosei and Imu, yeah, there's going to be some Straw Hats in there because there are some very important figures within the Straw Hats, but there's also just other important figures. Like, I would imagine some of the final matchups are going to involve revolutionaries like Dragon and Sabo, for example, or maybe maybe some big marine characters that have like they ain't a part of this shit anymore, like maybe Kobe, like we could get some really other big characters involved in these conflicts that, do have Conqueror's hockey, assumedly.
I think if you're looking for a dragon matchup, you're living in a fantasy world.
Well, it's a good thing One Piece is a fantasy story, because I'm gonna dream on, brother.
Nope, science fiction, all of it, hard and fast rules.
Damn.
And one of those rules is that the only
dreams.
Yeah, the only fucking thing, the only fight the dragon gets to have is either off screen or with some rubble.
Damn.
He can fight some garbage. That's what he's allowed to do.
I do agree, though, that I think the
He's
war is.
Shit? Yeah.
What? You know what? I'll co-sign that. Retweet. I'll stand
Also,
with this guy. Sure.
I've been on the whole Shanks is gonna fight Blackbeard trip for a very long time, but that might not happen. He might fight Shamrock.
I think he should fight Shamrock. I would love that.
Well, the end of this chapter kind of fucks up a lot of like. It kind of the end of this chapter fucked up isn't the right word. The end of this chapter definitely shocked me because Imu possesses Gunko and he's like the holy land is in flames right now. And
yes.
that the implication is that I would assume the revolutionaries have just straight up invaded, because I don't know what else.
Really?
Why else would it be in flames?
I was thinking maybe this is Blackbeard, because
That
now
is
that he's
possible.
got Garp
Oh,
as the
that's
bargaining
good.
chip, now he's able to just walk into Marie-Joie and just rain shit. I was thinking about that. At first, I was thinking my crack theory was like, what if Akainu just said, you know what, fuck this, and he just started going crazy. But like, I don't know why he would do that. I mean, I know the dude wants to get out there in the field and shit, but like, I don't know why he would, I guess,
I
respond in
disagree. I've
that
seen
way.
a lot of memes that say that he does not want to get out in the field.
I mean, it's true, but you know, I don't know why he would respond that way, even with him being somewhat against the Gorosei the last time we saw them interact. It could also be Shanks, just to show, like, we read a newspaper at the end of the arc and, you know, everyone's like, oh, I guess, yeah, there is an evil Shanks, but people on Elbaf seem to accept that there is a Shanks twin brother pretty quickly, so I don't think it'll be that either. So I think it is just, my likely guess is Blackbeard, if he's not, like, going to Wano to get the ancient weapon there.
I guess regardless, it doesn't really matter who's at the Holy Land doing stuff, because
Right.
what it changes is the idea. Because I always believed the Holy Land was going to be the location of the final war. I always believed that, like, when the final conflict happened, like when Luffy fought Emu, it would be in Marie-Joie. And that would be where we kind of see the destruction of Marie-Joie. That's where we see the celestial dragons get dragged down from Marie-Joie. That's where we see all that stuff happen. But it seems like Marie-Joie is getting attacked by whoever right now. And that speeds up the timeline significantly. And it makes me think about something that Oda said a long time ago. This was a couple years ago. Oda said that the final chapter, and I don't think he meant literally the final chapter, but just he basically was saying the end of One Piece is when the One Piece treasure will be revealed. And I always thought about that, where I was like, what does he mean by that exactly? Like, what does that exactly mean? Because I always assumed that it would be Luffy and crew get the final road poneglyph, and then they battle Blackbeard for the One Piece, and then after finding the One Piece, because I always assumed the One Piece would be where Luffy and the crew like learn the true history of the world, and then that directly leads into the conflict with the world government, right?
Mm-hmm.
If Mary Jo's already getting attacked and destroyed by some other force, I'm wondering if the final war will be a gigantic war for the One Piece, and it will be the Straw Hats, the Blackbeard Pirates, the Red Hair Pirates, the Revolutionaries, the government, all of them all fighting each other for the One Piece. And
That
whoever
could
wins
be
gets it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
if that ends up being the case, I'm a little worried, because I don't know if Oda could pull that off. That seems like a lot. And I know I'm like saying a theory and then pretending like it's going to happen, but I'm just like trying to figure out what the timeline's going to be.
Yeah, ain't nothing wrong with looking at future possibilities. Ain't nothing wrong with
well,
that.
I think that there's another way to interpret that, you know, what Oda said, that when they find the One Piece is when the series ends.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can also look at it as he's lying, and that's not true.
That is a
And I
possibility.
mean that
Let's do that.
sincerely, in the manner that I'm sure that Oda has probably like the last chapter of One Piece has been stewing in his brain for a very long time. And I have no doubt that he has a very solid image of it. Enough to comment on, you know, oh, you know, this is what's going to happen. That's going to be where the series ends. Doubt it. I just doubt that's how it's going to shake out. Like,
I'm just saying, like, I'm not Oda, but if I was writing a massively popular story on a weekly basis that people were constantly theorizing about and analyzing every little interview, every little thing I said, I'd lie all the fucking time.
Bro turned into a Chainsaw Man character.
I truly,
That's fair.
yeah, I truly think it's more so because that's just like the thing about a lot of, like, in other examples, Oda said like, oh yeah, we're X percentage of the way through the series. Just obviously he means that. He means like, oh, we have like this much left. But even after making a series, and not just that, this series for so long, I think it's still very clear that Oda doesn't really understand just how much time, or like, how long certain events, certain arcs are going to be. And when you add in fights to that, it gets like completely different. I would not be surprised because, yeah, like you said, that would imply in order for, several groups to have a satisfying conclusion, the final battle of the series is going to be the most massive, chaotic thing that's ever happened. Like,
Yeah.
imagine like the ride of the Rohirrim from Lord of the Rings, except we know about every single motherfucking member of... We know about every human, and we know about every orc. Like, we know each of them. And we're like, well, we gotta know how each of their fights go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
It's a lot.
I guess because another way to kind of reinterpret the line would be in the situation, because this is a big theory, but a big theory is that what One Piece is, or what One Piece means, the One Piece is the world coming together. Like, it's a popular theory is that Luffy will destroy the Red Line and then create the All Blue, because the four blues will become one blue. And, after defeating Emu, who has subjugated and separated the world, everyone will come together as one people, the One Piece. And it's like, technically they could find the One Piece treasure, but the One Piece itself won't be revealed until the final chapter, when they actually it becomes real. You know what I mean? So it's like, in that situation, that's also another way to interpret it, if that is the case.
That would make more sense. Never mind. One Piece was the friends we made along the way. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know the answer.
Oh, yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think,
The end of the
you guys
chapter.
got some good ideas.
The end of the chapter when Emu possesses Gunko, and he starts like talking through her and controlling her. It reminds me of a theory that I saw from Arter a long time ago. Shout out to Arter. I just fucking love Arter. He's one of my
dope.
favorite
Yeah.
One Piece content
good.
creators.
He's very good.
But he did a whole video. I forget what the title of the video was, but it was theorizing about what devil fruit or what power Emu could have. And his theory, his conclusion was he just has the devil fruit. Or if he doesn't have the devil fruit, he's just like the devil. I forget exactly what he said. But it was the idea that he is just the devil, basically.
The King Von Devil Fruit.
And because it wasn't just, Satan. It was the idea that he's the devil, but he's like the cartoon version of the devil, like the guy who carries a pitchfork and he has like the pointy tail and stuff. And one of the things that he used for that theory was the scene where Sabo tries to save Cobra from the Gorosei. Emu attacks Sabo. And if it's like, it looks like an arrow. It's like blacked out so you can't really see, but it looks like a pointy, like sharp arrow. And then it stabs, Sabo through the chest or stomach or whatever. And he theorized like that is Emu's tail. Because he has a pointy devil tail.
I mean, I thought the same thing when I read that chapter. It looks very tail, like a classic dragon or devil type tail.
Mm-hmm. And that was before. I'm pretty sure he released that video. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure he released that video before we got like the Gorosei reveal that they all had yokai powers. in that they use these demonic summoning circles to teleport themselves, and they're immortal. And then also, but the reason it made me think of it is like he's able to possess the people he makes contracts with, so he can make deals or contracts with people, assumingly give them powers and abilities, make them immortal. They can be summoned using demonic circles, and he can possess their bodies. The more and more time goes on, the more and more I'm starting to think Arter might just have got it correct.
From laughably little information, too.
Yeah.
Are we sure this guy just isn't Oda himself and this elf on an alt account?
No, apparently the Oda goes around fucking psychically assassinating good theorists.
Well, did you guys hear about the whole Uteron situation?
No.
A little bit.
What?
So
What
Oda,
situation?
Recently, I don't know if this was like an interview or like where he said this, but Oda said he hates when fans theorize, like really, really get analytical and theorize everything that's going to happen in the story. Because I would assume it's just because he wants to keep things, fresh and surprising. And when people guess things correctly, he doesn't like that.
Yeah,
There's
tough.
There is a there's a Japanese One Piece YouTuber named Uteron. I think his name is Uteron. And he is like one of the, or maybe he just was like the most popular Japanese One Piece YouTuber, which is a big deal because One Piece is extremely popular in Japan. So here's a big deal. Like Oda definitely knew this guy. He knew of this guy. Like he's probably seen his videos before. He had, concept of who this fucking guy is. And Uteron, very famously, Uteron created this system or this theory using numbers to predict the future of One Piece. So I'm not going to explain it all because I don't understand exactly how it works. And it's kind of complicated and honestly, probably mostly bullshit. But to give him credit, he completely predicted the exact chapter that Jinbei was going to return in Wano, like months before it happened, using the like numerical system that he created.
Holy shit.
We cracked the One Piece algorithm phone. It's like breaking the German cipher in fucking World War II.
Because like I do on some level, I've heard some of the stuff that he's predicted through this way, and like some of the stuff that's gotten right, and like yeah, it does seem like Oda does a lot of wordplay stuff with the numbers. He does a lot of like things with the numbers, just putting them in people's names and stuff like that, right? And like, how are you gonna like lay down all these clues and stuff and like be mad when someone like follows them? Like,
Hell no, you weren't
is
supposed
that
to get
not
that.
corny as hell?
Well, I don't think. Well, that's because Tucker. Do you want to finish like the back half of that?
Oh, the back half's even funnier.
Because
Oh, Lord.
so Uteron got a lot of stuff right, but also he got tons of stuff wrong. It's not like he was right all the time. It's not like he completely predicted everything that was going to happen in the story. But anyway, Oda said that he hates when people predict things in the story. So Uteron just quit his YouTube channel. Like he basically just quit being a YouTuber because his entire channel was about predicting One Piece. And I don't know how many subscribers he had, but I know he was popular. Like he was a pretty significant person in the Japanese One Piece community. And he just quit because Oda said that he hates when people predict his story.
That blows.
I mean, technically speaking, would that count as a flex or not? Because like the fact that he had to quit because he was that good, I don't know how I would interpret that.
Well, he wasn't.
Yeah, he wasn't. He quit because he didn't. He quit because he's a huge fan of One Piece and Oda, and I'm sure he respects Oda a lot. And hearing that Oda just doesn't like the thing he's doing, he probably was just like, "Well, I'll just stop doing it." I assume that's probably what was the intention.
No, Oda used his psychic powers to fucking. It was like the Death Note. Like, yeah, obviously he didn't kill the guy. He just made him resign and delete his
He
channel.
possessed
And
him
now
like
he's
you
like,
do.
yeah, and now he's like, uh-oh. Yeah.
Bunch of
It's,
black SUVs pulled up out front of his house. He's like, oh shit.
Yeah, the MDF, the Manga Defense Force.
The jump
Yeah.
force.
It's a... Ew. Oh, God. Ugh. Anyways. Bad taste in my mouth. Yeah, it's an interesting situation, especially for someone like me who does just know what's gonna happen. You know, throughout the whole series. Yeah, it's a really interesting situation because that kind of boggles the mind. It's like, why foreshadow anything then?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't get. I get like being frustrated if you like, you know, maybe you make it a little too easy by mistake. But like that's the whole point of setting things up, is like that is like half the fun of like manga being weekly. Like you can't do that with most other forms of media because like you know, a lot of stuff gets released in like big significant batches, but like little bits every week that you can do with like TV shows and like weekly releases.
It's the fact that
that's the fun.
Yeah, it's the fact that it is the weekly schedule adds a whole lot to that of just, you know, every week, a little bit more information. So how does that change what we thought before? What new ideas is introduced? And compared to TV shows, you know, at least good ones, it's constant throughout the whole year, even like with breaks and whatnot. You still are getting like 40 chapters at least for like a normal weekly series. For a show, you know, it's like 13 episodes a year. So there's a huge gap during which you don't get the same consistent little updates. And for a series like One Piece, where there's so much stuff, even in a chapter where nothing really happens, there's always going to be something that somebody can look at and be like, oh, okay, no, this is like a reference to that, or this implies this, or especially, you know, as we are now in the back half, theoretically, the back half of the series. But I can understand like being upset, like, oh, you know, if Taco wrote down a theory and obviously some things are mistaken, but he does just like get a lot of the like he gets a lot of stuff right, and a lot of stuff that is supposed to be like this big twist moment where you reach the end of the chapter and your thought is supposed to be, oh my god, I can't believe that happened, and not, I knew it. I can understand being upset about that, but also their theories, not everyone believes them.
True.
Like, even if you, I could theorize whatever, and technically, I could have a month ago said like, yeah, we're gonna get Brooke's backstory. I would have been lying, and nobody would have believed me. Nobody would be like, oh wow, you like ruined this because you predicted it. It's like, wow, you pulled something out of your ass and it happened.
I you know, the one thing that allows me to understand where that's coming from is I remember when we were getting the whole like Vegapunk announcement thing going on, and we were all like, wow, this is really cool. And then Silver was like, isn't this stuff we already knew? No. No, it wasn't.
It was stuff
I
we
mean,
assumed
yeah.
to be true, but it was because of theories. It did, in a sense, kind of not ruin, but it did lessen the impact of that entire scene for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of
that's-
people complained that it's like, well, this is stuff we knew, and it's like, no, we didn't. It's stuff we assumed. That's not the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that's like an attitude problem.
Yeah,
That's-
To be fair to Oda, we don't know the exact tone or context of why he said that.
That's
Right.
fair. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's completely
I was-
fair.
I was
You
gonna
are making
say-
some assumptions.
Yeah, it's
Like-
not like
He could have literally just said like, yeah, I just don't really like it that much when people accurately predict the story. If he said it like that, then it's like, I think that's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say,
You know,
like,
that's completely fair.
it is like I feel like it is very like One Piece, like very Luffy to like look at like, oh, people are applying logic to that. No, fuck, let's just go on an adventure, man. Come on. Like, I can look at it from that perspective and be like, all right, I guess that makes sense. I just wish the guy didn't quit his channel, man. Because, like, if you're getting shit down like that, that's cool. Like, and again, for me at least, like, I can only speak for myself, because for stuff like this, it is very much up to your preference. But, like, for me, it's different, like, seeing something than just, like, hearing somebody predict it to be true. Like, if someone was just like, I think that Goku is gonna unlock Super Saiyan on Namek, that's different than me reading Goku's, like, big triumphant I am Son Goku speech to Frieza where I want to rip my shirt off and run through a wall. Like, that's different for me. So I can, like, get it, but it's also like, damn, man, that really sucks that he just quit.
Well, I don't think he should have.
Yeah, I think, like, it's a pretty, it's a very extreme reaction.
Yeah.
I can understand, because
Well, like, was probably his job.
I don't know Uteron's intentions for why he quit. Because as far as I know, he never said any. I don't think he really explained. Or if he did, I didn't see it. So I don't know why he quit, but I don't know. I wouldn't have.
Yeah. It sucks for sure. Fuck. I had something I was gonna bring up. Oh yeah. Did we have anything else we wanted to say about that? I was gonna transition to more stuff with Gunko at the end.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that Emu taking over Gunko kind of flips the script on a dynamic that's been had with the Gods Knights and our, I guess, good guys, you know, Straw Hats and all the other good guys here on Elbaf, where the Gods Knights, obviously, we just saw them handle the lower members of the Straw Hat crew pretty easily last week, more specifically Gunko. We saw them take care of business pretty easily, just wrapped up the whole crew. And they have no problem just, like, walking around and be like, yeah, we're on Elbaf, what's up? But they've made it abundantly clear in the previous chapters and now in this chapter with Scopper Gaban, like, yo, we don't really want any problems with any other stronger guys. Like, there's been a couple instances where they're like, haha, we're out here doing our thing. And then they're like, wait, Luffy's on Elbaf? Ah, shit, we gotta figure out what's going on here. So I think Emu now pulling up, even if it's for a little bit, flips the entire dynamic, because if he can just, like, send more power through Gunko and make her even stronger. I mean, like, she completely changed. I'm assuming her eyes, like, I think her eyes changed. Her hair got longer. I noticed that. Dynamic to play with for, I guess, the Straw Hat crew and the Gods Knights going forward in this arc. So I'm really interested to see how that shifts forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out, especially if Luffy catches wind of this. Because, like, here's the thing. I feel like he's definitely, even if we assume Scopper is falling all the way down to the underworld and he tells them all about this, they're definitely going to feel the Emu showing up before they talk to Scopper. Or, because, like, there's no way they don't sense that shit.
The only...
And they're going to be like, hey, what the fuck is going on up there?
The only good news is, because that's one of the things with the Gods Knights that makes them so formidable, is once they show up, we don't know the exact ritual behind the summoning circle, but I would assume they're able to make more.
Probably. Yeah.
And what makes them so formidable is, like, beforehand, it's like, there's only 3 right now. But assumedly, more could show up at any time. And even if Luffy is, you know, stronger than any of them individually, except maybe Shamrock, because we're assuming Shamrock's really fucking strong, they're still immortal. And Luffy still doesn't know how to just defeat them, because he couldn't just hurt the Gorosei either. Like, he hasn't figured out how to do it yet. And then everyone below Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and everyone else are just going to struggle too, because, you know, they're immortal. But on the flip side, now we know the reason why Shamrock had to return, and we know that the Holy Land is in flames, assumedly under attack. Something really bad is happening. We can also assume that probably no backup is coming. Like, the entire reason Emu possessed Gunko in the first place is because they're getting desperate. Things are not going the way Emu wants. He's losing control, and as someone who's been in control for 800 years, this is not something that they're used to. So they are making rash decisions. And I would assume if it gets to a point where the situation on Elbaf doesn't improve for the Gods Knights, they might just decide it's not worth it and retreat.
Yeah.
We don't necessarily have to just outright defeat them. If we can just keep them from achieving their goal long enough, they might just leave.
It is very funny how, like, implicitly the plan to kidnap, giant kids, turn them into soldiers, implies a lot of time to pass. And
well, they were going to blackmail the giant warriors to just join them.
No, you're right. That's right.
Yeah.
Good. That was a test.
You almost had him there, man. Good job.
Yeah. Almost.
They probably would. I mean, obviously, they probably are still going to try to turn them into child soldiers. Or is in the end too, because like again, they're immortal. They're probably thinking on a different time scale.
Yeah, it's still definitely like it's funny the way that it's like, all right, yeah, like the Giants are going to join the plan, but it's now is more so like, all right, look, we're going to kill your kids unless you get here like right now.
It's
I need you 5 minutes. I need you fucking ready to fight. Who? I don't know.
This entire situation. Everything that's happening with Emu and the Gorosei and the Gods Knights and the Celestial Dragons, this entire situation is all born out of desperation. Because the hold that Emu has had on the world for centuries is loosening. For multitude of reasons. It goes, back to Roger, to Rox, whoever. Like, this is like a building of tension that is just ready to snap. And this entire plan with the Giants reeks of desperation because we've seen the government has been trying for a long time to get the Giants under their foot. And the Giants, at least until recently, were powerful enough that it never made sense to just have all-out war with them. And we've seen multiple of their slow plans fail. They tried to create giants on Punk Hazard. That just didn't work. They tried to, and clearly Vegapunk has figured it out because the Seraphim are giant. Like he did eventually crack the gigantification process. But Vegapunk betrayed them, so now they just don't have that anymore. And then now we can pretty safely assume, like I think Sommers did just confirm, King Harald was just working with the government. Assumedly he knew about Mother Caramel selling orphans to the government. So this entire situation, they were kind of slowly creeping in, preparing Elbaf to become a member of the world government. And then Loki probably figured it out, whatever, killed his father. We don't know exactly what happened, but that plan failed. So now they have resorted to just outright blackmail. They're just going to kidnap the kids and force them to join. And I think if the Straw Hats are able to get the children to safety, they will just abandon the plan because they never wanted to just fight the Giants anyway. They're only doing this because they want to use the kids as leverage. But if we can take the kids away as leverage, their plan falls apart, and I think they will just quit.
I'm wondering too, because at the start of Elbaf, we were told like, "Hey, don't stay in Elbaf for too long," and we don't exactly know why that's the case. I'm wondering if it has some sort of negative effect. Will we maybe see that happen to one of the Gods Knights since they are immortal? Like, is that also a way we could beat them? I don't know how it could specifically affect just them and not the crew, but like, that's something I have been thinking about as well. Like, trying to keep in the back of my mind anyway, because I'm trying to figure out what the fuck that could mean.
Mm-hmm.
We just gonna have to wait and see. Yeah, we just gonna have to wait and see.
It's anyone's guess. It's any of your guesses, because if it was my guess, it would just be
not
right.
anyone's guess. Yeah.
This was a very good, exciting chapter.
Yeah. Shout out to Ranja,
Oh, yeah.
man. That part was so sad.
Mm-hmm.
That part was fucking heartbreaking, man. Shout out to
Yeah,
Ranja
no,
for
like-
being adorable.
Yeah, like the bit with Ranja and Collun, and it's like, because here's the other part that I wanted to say before we finish this off. Like, I know that we had to get Scopper Gaban out of the picture one way or the other, and this was the most sensible way. Like, I got nothing against Scopper for this. I don't look down on him for it less. Yes, but it's like, it really does just make me fucking hate the God's Knights more, and it's gonna be awesome to see these guys get taken down. Like, I'm excited to see that happen more.
Makes me hate a stupid ass kid.
Damn. I was gonna say,
Dumbass. He's 50 years old. He's got no excuse.
yeah,
Fucking
grow up, get a job.
Dumbass.
I was gonna say, and I'm happy because I watched Morge's video on this chapter. I'm happy he brought it up too. I think it's really impressive how Oda managed to take out Gaban, but also make him look so impressive. Like, even when he loses, this man is getting feats. Like, this man can see the future, and it's like, oh shit, that's pretty cool, actually. Like, his observation was already pretty cracked, because obviously Elbaf is a giant land, and there have been moments in this arc where he's looking around and he's like, oh, okay, so that's what's going on here. When everyone was trying to figure out what's going on, who are these random people, where are they? He was one of the first people to be like, oh, okay, so that's where they are. Cool. So, like, his observation is already pretty big. So I'm not surprised that he can see the future, but it's still pretty cool. Like, even when he loses, it's like, oh, by the way, just slip this on the table. He also has this. Like, that's pretty cool.
I saw this coming, by the way.
Yeah, I lost because I gave up because I saw it coming. I can see the future. Yeah. Shout out to Collun. I understand, but immediately sold the bag. Holy god damn. It was almost a comical level of selling where he was like, please don't say anything, Collun. Immediately. That's my dad. That's my OG. Let's go.
Collun will get. Collun is the exact type of kid character Oda really likes to write.
I like Collun a lot too so far. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, Collun will get Collun will get like a big redemption moment later, I'm sure. He'll get something.
He's gonna have a moment where he is actually brave and he saves the kids or saves somebody in some way.
He's gonna do something. Because, like I said, Collun is the exact type of kid character Oda likes to do.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I'm really excited to see. But outside of that, I don't have too much else to say on this chapter. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about?
Nope. I think that covered all.
I think we covered a lot. Yeah.
True. Okay. Let me read this quick donation real quick, and then we'll move on to our next one. Sorry, I'm not reading as many comments as of late, chat, but since the stream started lagging again, I kind of want to just get through without any problems. But just know I'm reading them. I am reading your comments, even though I'm not saying them out loud.
I am going to head out. You guys have fun with the rest of the podcast.
Salute, soldier. Take care. Thanks for joining us. Oh, did he
Can't help but
leave?
notice he didn't. Yeah, I can't help but
Okay.
notice he didn't actually let me. It seems like he took over a lot of that conversation, even though I'm the One Piece expert. But whatever.
Yeah, right. No faith. What the fuck is his
Fuck
problem?
that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Just
Ugh.
because I forgot the plot of what was currently going on, like right now,
Gosh.
not even stuff that happened
People
a
make
while ago.
mistakes,
like, stuff
man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
It was
Really
a test.
inconsiderate. Yeah, really inconsiderate. But shout out to Nasty Nutter in parentheses. Cracker at large, which is crazy, for the $2 donation.
There he is, officers, get him! Wait, you won't get him? Why not? Oh, right, Cracker.
Don't shoot this man. He's not black. Yeah, he says, hope you all have a blessed day. Thank you, Nasty
Well, that's not what I
Nutter.
expected.
Yeah. the most insane username ever. He's like, hey man, I just hope y'all stay blessed. True, man.
Good luck to you and yours.
Hey, much love to you and yours. Health and wealth to you and yours. Nasty nutter. We appreciate it. But anyway, let's move on to the next chapter we have here. We have Chainsaw Man Chapter 203. Fellas, how are we feeling about this one?
God, thank you. When are you gonna fucking get it?
Come on, man. What do you think?
Okay,
what
look,
do you think?
I honestly don't think I can blame Denji entirely on this one, because it's like, yeah, it's not exactly the most noble reason, but it's like, yeah, I understand. He doesn't want to be hated any more than he already is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's
So
very
like,
simple.
It's not the same. It's not like the same shit we've been getting with him, and like wanting to touch tits or whatever. This is a different thing. He just genuinely wants to be appreciated, and he doesn't want to hurt that image, you know.
Well, I think this is
actually-
like on a
he wants to be a
deeper
hero.
level. Yeah, like because even Denji
exactly.
wanting to touch tits in part 1, like that had a deeper interpretation. At least in my opinion, a lot of niggas just think it's corny gooner bait, but that's a whole another conversation. But
Yeah.
I think even here where he's just like, I just want more people to care about me. It's just him continuing to search for affection. And I think it's really cool because with Yoru being that reflection where she's saying like, hey, people are just gonna forget about you even if you save these people. And she brings up Asa being the face of the Chainsaw Man Church and her being quickly moved past, and that's a whole other conversation that Chainsaw Man Part 2 went into with like how crazy work culture is in Japan, where it's just all this horrible shit is happening outside. We still need you at work by 9:30, nigga. Clock in, you know? So I think that's really good from that perspective, but also because Yoru, she was battling this exact same feeling earlier on, where she was, I think it's like one of the very first chapters of Chainsaw Man Part 2, or maybe it's after the attack from Yuko at the school. Anyway, it's really earlier on in the story, where she's explaining to Asa what, like, essentially what's motivating her, where it's the fear of being forgotten. You know, everything has gotten peaceful and people are moving on. They're forgetting about me. And it's implied during that scene that she's very scared of that happening. So Yoru being in this situation, this is like one of the few things where she can actually relate to and understand Denji. And then now obviously very fucked up where she's just like, you should just murder more people, but you know, that's Yoru. But I think it's interesting now where this is like the one time where she can actually understand him, but instead she's just telling him like, hey man, hand on shoulder, I think you gotta kill these people, bud.
Well,
I
yeah,
think
'cause,
it's
like,
really
here's the thing.
interesting.
I mean, what you're saying is definitely true, but there is a very clear difference. Yoru, who doesn't care, like both Denji and Yoru, who want to be remembered, but like here's the thing, the context is only important for one of them. Like, because Denji wants to be remembered as a hero, someone that people can care about. Yoru doesn't give a shit whatsoever because, well, she's war. Like that comes back to our whole theory from a few chapters ago, where like her master plan is going to be to plunge the world into world war so that no one forgets her, or no one's going to love her, but that doesn't matter to her because the point is she won't be forgotten, and it solidifies her existence. So the context is completely unimportant for her, and that's where they separate.
I think it is similar in a way though, like it's similar but different, because I do agree that it is a separate mentality. But I think it is similar in the sense of just like both of them are pretty shameless about it, whereas like Denji is just like, in this situation he's just like, well yeah, I just want to save these people, not because it's a good thing, but because I'll be looked at as a good person and people will like appreciate me and I'll be that hero. It's very similar to how Asa was at the very beginning, where you know, Asa, I don't think she was like an evil person. I don't think Denji's an evil person either. But it was pretty clear early on anyway that Asa very much was just like, I'm gonna do a good thing just so I can be seen as a good person. Even when she joins up in the Chainsaw Man cult, where she's just like, she joins and I'm like, all right, I'm here to help Denji. And then she gets clout and she's like, oh, shucks, they're talking about how cool I am. Aren't I the greatest, you know? So
She just had to act like she don't know nobody.
Genuinely.
Yeah.
You know, Yoru was like, man, I don't know. This feels kind of weird that we're so popular. And Asa's like, man, we're not doing this shit to be popular. Turn up the volume. They're talking about my looks. Turn it up more. You know, like it was very much shit like that. So I think it's both Denji and Yoru are pretty shameless in the fact that it's just like, well, it doesn't really matter. Like, it doesn't matter their approach as long as people love them. Even with Denji's relationship with Yoru, where we talked about this, where he's just like, well, you know, she's probably gonna fuck me over, but who knows? Maybe she'll fuck me. You know, like stuff like that. Maybe she'll remember me, things like that. And he's just kind of waiting for shit to hit the fan because he's just so used to it, but he doesn't care. So I do agree that they are different, but they're also the same. It's complicated.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's like you said, they're not evil, they're selfish. Like, I think that's just the best way to summarize it.
And by they, hold on, wait. Let's specify something.
Hold on.
By
Yeah,
they, we mean Asa and Denji. Yoru is evil.
Like,
she is.
Okay, well,
she
yeah,
is evil.
was-
Before we get an
I was
actually,
referring-
nigga, in the
Strong
comments.
contender for the devil, honestly.
Yeah.
in this case-
I knew what you
In
were
this case,
saying.
yes, I
but
was referring to Asa and Denji. I was very
Yes.
specifically referring to Asa and Denji.
yes.
Listen,
Yeah, I
we're
wasn't
just,
thinking
we're
about
just
your
clearing any
context.
misunderstanding that you might create for yourself.
Absolutely.
Help
Yeah,
When
yeah,
I
yeah.
say selfish, I do. When I say selfish, I do mean Asa and Denji.
Absolutely.
Just those
The
two. Yoru is her
Yoru
own different
fan
thing.
allegations are a dangerous thing.
And I think especially on some level, Denji probably doesn't really believe, because he's constantly, like, from the beginning of the series, searching for genuine affection and love. But after the events of part 1, he doesn't really seem to believe that he actually deserves those things. So he seems very content going after surface level validation and like just trying to maintain whatever positive rep he can, because at least that makes him feel good in the moment.
Well, one of the interesting things I think about that moment, you know, what Denji says, but if I kill them, there'll be fewer people who like me. I think that wording in particular is interesting because it's less of a. To me, it implies that he's trying to hold on to what he has.
Mm-hmm.
Like in this moment, it's not that like, oh, more people will hate me, or if I do this, you know, I won't. People won't like me more. It's the people who do like me will decrease. And I think that's very indicative of his mindset right now, where he's just where he's very indecisive as to what to do next, and so he doesn't want to lose what he has right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because that was a big thing when Yoru was like, oh, Asa likes you. Where he was like, oh, I'm so happy somebody out there likes me. So, yeah, I agree. It's like preservation.
Knowing that there is someone out there who's like, even abstractly thinking about him in a positive way is like, he's able to maintain some level of not losing all hope off of that mere idea.
Yeah.
And that's obviously not good for the long run, but it's
Yeah,
Ugh.
it's kind of like trying to maintain the status quo, which has, you know, obviously had a pretty negative effect on things, in my opinion, throughout the story. Like, not even talking about, like, from a story, like, I guess a character perspective, where it's just like, oh my god, Fell Forward Again award, #1 winner, it's me. I thought we were progressing, but I guess not. You know, so many times where things looked like they were going to develop, and then they just kind of go back to nothing. And that can be a whole nother conversation. But I think at least in this specific situation, I do like it because of what I think it's trying to say about Denji, where he's trying to preserve the status quo, but the world is really not letting that happen. You have Fakesaw Man. He's using all of these people like, you're gonna have to fight me or else these guys are gonna die. So Denji's on a timer just based on that. And then in the middle of his conversation with Yoru, Falling Devil just appears and just like, we're doing the despair plan, baby. Let's go. And chucks a building. So like Denji at some point is going to have to like pick up the pace. He's going to have to get with the program. But so far it's kind of like you were mentioning, Sky, and Zenith as well, where it's like, I kind of don't want, like, I want to preserve all the good things that are happening to me right now. So from this perspective, in this situation, I can appreciate the trying to maintain the balanced stance that Chainsaw Man has taken.
Yeah. Especially since basically every other relationship he's had is just completely gone to shit.
They aren't great.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, Asa did. It looks like she came back, like when Falling Devil picked up the building. So I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, it's because Yoru knows that she's cooked.
I better keep my ass inside
The
of this
Falling
teenager. Or
Devil's
else
here,
I'm
damn!
good.
I'm keeping my ass at her deep super ego. I'm taking my shit. I'm taking my shit back to the brainstem. Yeah,
Oh shit.
This id feeling mad comfortable right now.
Yeah. I think the only relationship that Denji has that hasn't gone to shit is Kishibe, and that's because that motherfucker walked.
He is just unpresent.
He left before things could go sour.
Kishibe walked so Denji could crawl through glass.
Yeah.
It's hard to say where this goes from here, because I think where Denji is at as a character is obviously just unsustainable. I mean, that's pointed out to him. The surface level validation that he's chasing after right now, even if he saves these people's lives, it will not last, and people will just move on to the next fad after he's done. So, what does he do? The status quo he's trying to maintain won't even last if he succeeds. Obviously, he needs to find something else, and whether or not that's an actual healthy relationship or another unhealthy coping mechanism, that is up to the whims of Fujimoto's fury at his own characters.
Oh man, he's fucking cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Imagine when Gege is better at writing suffering builds character. Yikes. I disagree because Chainsaw Man Part 1 still exists. I know Part 2 has been kind of ass, but Part 1 is still there.
Yeah. It's honestly like
Roboco volume cover yet?
I think so.
Why would you even speak that series in
also
my
the
fucking
I
ear?
was gonna say if Chainsaw Man's so bad, then why did Roboco parody it? And then I thought like,
Also, Chainsaw Man
Does have a
has
point.
literally never written a suffering build character. It is only ever written it destroys character. There is
By
no
the way,
point
it
where
does,
Denji
have it.
suffers, and he's like, "Damn, I am better for this now."
Mm-hmm.
True.
Literally everything that's happened to him that's negative has contributed worse to his psychology.
Yeah.
It's just the modern Evangelion.
God. Ava's so
Mhm.
good. I love me some Ava, man. Fuck. If Chainsaw Man Part 1 is so good, why is there no good Chainsaw Man Part 2? Well, you got me there. You got me. Hey, the cat's out of the bag. He beat me there. Yeah, it's it's definitely interesting. It's funny how Sailor says the same thing about every CSM2 arc. It's almost like no character progresses on this story. Imagine that. Hey, man. I gotta try to find some meaning in the darkness. You know what I'm saying? Gotta find something. We'll definitely see, like, we'll definitely see when we look back on this series or on part 2, we'll definitely see what the fuck was going on. But
I am genuinely so curious how I'm going to feel about, like, because I don't know how long Chainsaw Man has, but, like, how I'm going to feel about the series as a whole when it ends. Because way I feel right now, part 1 is basically, like, untouchable. He hasn't done anything that's, like, ruined it for me. Like, he hasn't fucked it up in any way, like, retroactively. It is just still one of my favorite weekly reading experiences. And when I say untouchable, I don't mean like, oh my god, it's the GOAT, it's the best. I mean, like, in terms of its reputation, I don't think it is I don't think it is at all fuckable with. You know what I mean? It
Yeah.
cannot be fucked with.
Yeah.
Part 2, because I can totally picture a world where he somehow pulls out a crazy end, and I look back at part 2 with, like, oh my god, he was cooking the entire time. Except for, you know, the part where nothing happened at all for, like, like weeks. The part with, like, you know, when it was just them going around and doing nothing, that you know, I don't see that, like...
a true tour de force in our genre here.
But, like, everything else, I could totally see there being a world where, like, he ends it off, and I'm just like, wow, he was cooking that whole time. I can also see a world where he ends it off, and I have no fucking idea what he was
That
doing
nigga was
the whole
cooking
time.
poo-poo platters.
Both feel so equally possible to me, and we'll just have to see.
Yeah, that's Chainsaw Man. That is Chainsaw Man, yeah.
That's Chainsaw Man, baby.
Let's go. All about the Mets, baby. Let's go Mets. Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Someone, Manu's responding to me. The point of suffering builds character in JJK was to say that, in fact, suffering doesn't build character, Xena. Fair, but, like, as a fact, suffering did build character. Like,
I was gonna say, I think it did for Yuji.
Like, Yuji did grow as a person through his suffering. Denji has not grown as a person through any of his suffering. Like, the most Denji ever did was overcome his, like, need for someone to control him, and he gained a bit more self-assuredness, and that was completely traded off for any sense of self-worth that he lost with the loss of his new family.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there has been, aside from him killing Makima, Denji has had no moment where he genuinely, like, overcame the psychological odds in front of him. He is just a worse off person mentally and emotionally in every conceivable way. It's actually incredible seeing, like, a mainstream shonen story, like, do that. Because it's so antithetical to the genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Denji's the type of person to go to an aquarium and all the fish drown themselves.
Exactly.
That's how much of a fucking bummer he is.
God, do
Whereas
not
it's
skip
like-
our intros, man.
It's like, yeah, like, I could totally say, like, yeah, suffering did build character in JJK, but that is, like, the most milquetoast statement of a shonen ever, because that just happens in every single one, except for Chainsaw Man.
Plus, like, hidden inventory exists, too. Like, not just Yuji. Like, I feel like the suffering of Gojo, Geto, even Toji in that arc from the little we, like, know about it. Rico, you know, like, a whole bunch of shit. I feel like there are examples. There are more examples of it in terms of, like, Chainsaw Man, like we were saying.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, true, and that's true. I got nothing else to say on this chapter, though. You guys want to move on to our next one?
I guess I'll end off saying that, like, again, any ending with Chainsaw Man is possible. There could be an ending where Denji totally finds self-actualization. There could also be an ending where he's just a bum the rest of his life. We'll never know. Fujimoto's a madman. Anyway, moving on.
Genuinely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why are we talking about Chainsaw Mid when we can talk about Chainsaw Peak and greatness that is Fubuki Tenka and Ren? Because I haven't been reading Chain Soldier. Sorry. I'm like 5 chapters behind on that. I have to catch up. I gotta catch up on a bunch of things, to be honest. I'm trying to read through Frieren right now, but I've just been like, do I want to play Street Fighter or work on a video? That's kind of been my priority for the past week, but hey man, I'm gonna jump back on reading stuff soon. Let me see. The saddest thing about CSM Part 2 is that when I talk about it, it sounds like the perfect dose of cynicism a series needs. The problem is that it isn't a 20 chapter monthly series, if that makes sense. I can understand. It's definitely a slow ass burn. I totally get it.
Yeah.
I think it is one of those series that when you like read through it in a bunch, it is better. But even then, like on a monthly, or not a monthly, but on like a weekly, semi-weekly, whatever, some of these chapters, it's like, man, I don't want to fucking slog through this shit again. Oh my god, like it's so ridiculous. Like there were when I reread it a couple months ago, there were moments where I was just like, oh god, I gotta get through this shit, huh? Like even then it was kind of boring to me. So I understand what you're saying. I get it. Excuse me. But anyway, let's move on to our next chapter here. Let's talk about Kagurabachi Chapter 80. Fellas, how are we feeling about this one?
This was a good chapter.
It was a sick ass chapter, fellas.
It
Sky,
it
how we
turns
feeling?
out that I'm just getting the message now because you know, as you all recall from the intro, I went to the zoo. All the animals killed themselves.
Right.
And so they didn't get to read this chapter. Tragic.
Apparently, one of the orangutans that died had a final message. They scrawled it out in the dirt as they after they jumped out of a tree.
Never skip the intro, fellas.
Right.
Yeah. And apparently it said that there was in fact a single bad chapter of Kagurabachi. So I don't feel bad at all anymore.
Oh
yeah.
Man. A liar to the grave. What the fuck is up with them? Jesus, dude. Everyone has a choice, man. If you're just gonna lie, then like it's no wonder you go down the wrong path. Fuck, man. Jeez.
And speaking of the wrong path, mask guy, Kudo.
Speaking of
Kudo, let's give Kudo his kudos here.
I'd like to formally apologize.
Sumimasen!
I would like to rescind.
Sumimasen! Yeah.
I would like to rescind the horrendous slander that
Speaking of killing yourself, it was actually the other guy who did that.
Oh
yeah,
shit!
I have most sincerely apologized. I saw that you had a kind of spooky design, and I thought, okay, this is gonna be the thing where like it's gonna be, oh, well, he's got the mask, but he's actually really nice. But then double twist, he's actually still evil. It's exactly what you would expect looking at him. Nah, you know what? That was my bad.
You know what? Here is the thing. We see a mask. We don't see a body, fellas.
Gomen Nasari on hold?
I think he faked his death and he is a traitor.
Oh my, you think he's like the orangutan?
No. What?
He's a liar. Yeah.
Yeah.
A liar. Yeah. I think because here's the thing. He tells Hakuri what to do, and then he just dies. Nah.
Suspicious.
Kind of sus.
Suspicious.
Don't ever doubt the lengths I would go to avoid being wrong.
No, this ain't about you. This ain't about you. I'm saving my own ass. I thought he was a traitor too.
Hey,
Don't
man,
underestimate the lengths Zenith would go to avoid being
this could be a
avoid
situation
admitting fault.
where he's not wrong, Maybe he's just early.
Yeah.
You never know. Invest, Last week, Zenith, you made a pretty good case. I invested a little stock in Rokuhira. Okay, I invested. I put a little bit of my coin in there. It's sitting safely in there. Maybe we put a little stock in the Kudo investment. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we do that. Maybe we do that. I don't know. And if we're wrong about it, shut up. We never talk about that shit. God.
Yeah.
But yeah, listen, I will take this at face value here on this podcast, okay? We got some non-believers. I will be the fell for it again recipient one last time, all right? You know, I'm a Chainsaw Man fan. I'm just used to it at this point. I will take it at face value. Yeah. I felt so bad. I felt so bad because we were looking at this dude is like, I'm keeping one eye on you, you know, pretty fucked up already because that's all he's got right now, you know, one eye. Yeah. But like we're keeping an eye on you, Kudo. Shit's not looking it's not looking too good for you, buddy. All right, we're clocking in on you. And then he immediately gets turned to paste. It's like, oh, shit.
Because hear me out, right? Clearly, he has some kind of, like, permeation sorcery, you know? Like, he makes Hakuri go through the floor, essentially. Which, like, cool. That's a cool-ass ability. I also don't want that sorcery to be wasted on a dead character. That's cool, right? But here's the thing. He clearly has control over what goes through things. Like, that just seems to be a part of the sorcery. Otherwise, it wouldn't just be Hakuri going through. It would be, like, everyone, right? There's, like, a level of control there. So what do you mean he dies, and then his little mask thing goes through the floor?
Bro, that's his
like,
just ran out.
And why, if he has that, like, control, did he not go through also? Like, it makes so much more sense if he wants Hakuri to deliver the message that he died.
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down here. You know what I'm saying?
Also, it's a really good misdirection too, because there's been all this traitor talk, and then suddenly it's like, oh, there isn't this traitor, it's fucking everyone. Like, that would be a great misdirection in that case. Because now everyone's attention is off, like, all these, like, actual characters when it comes to traitors.
It really
is lower levels.
It really is quite surprising, legitimately, that, like, oh yeah, there's a traitor. It's like, yeah, it's like a dozen. It's a lot of people, actually. It's
right?
We've got a leak. Nah, motherfucker, you really should be looking at the places you don't have a leak. That'd be easier.
We got a flood, buddy.
We got 300 highly trained individuals, and 299 of them are evil ass.
Yeah, I mean, true. I mean, listen, Xena, also to invest a little bit in the stock, right? You know, I did put some money in. It could be a situation where now you don't know who we can trust. Now Hakuri immediately is like, if he sees Kudo again, he's like, oh, I can trust this guy. He saved me. Like, he won't even think about it. He's like, yeah, this guy's cool. So I don't know. You know,
I think Hakuri really needs to fucking grow up and learn when somebody's given a death line.
Well, listen. I was gonna say,
Jesus Christ.
This is like the interesting part about this arc, right? Because Hakuri, he's just been failing all over the place, unfortunately, right? In terms of the sense of just like, it's not even his fault, so I can't even be like, you suck. But like, he has failed in some aspects where he's like, hey, I trust you. Let's go. And then the person's like, thanks, man, and stabs him in the back immediately. So I think it is really fun for his character. Now you put him in a situation where he's like, who do I trust? I think that is such an interesting development, and I'm really happy Hokuzono is doing this with him, because now you have like this big samurai brawl between Chihiro and Samura. Meanwhile, you got Hakuri playing Metal Gear Solid, and he's like, I don't know, who do I trust? I think I'm just gonna try to get it done myself. You know, like, this is so cool. Like, if we are going to be cutting back and forth between these two scenes, I am so happy that this is the setup. Like, this is sick. I fuck with this a lot.
Yeah, no,
it really is.
It was just cool seeing actual, like, you know, To quote another series, a sorcery fight. Because it's like, I love the Enchanted Blades, but we get a lot of Enchanted Blade fights. It's cool to just see characters actually have to handle things when, like, Chihiro isn't around.
Yeah, man.
And, because Hakuri's sorcery is awesome.
It's so cool.
Yeah, no, I like seeing Hakuri fights really cool, especially just that, like, they were hardened by training and effort. He was hardened by a piece of shit, brother.
He was hardened by bullying.
A decade of bottomless love. I love the fact that his hand covers up, like, the speech bubble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. Such a subtle
That's-
thing of telling that.
Yeah, he's just like, not thinking about it.
Yeah. I love how even like the way that it says it in the text bubble, where it's like it was by a decade of bottomless love. Like had to think about it for a second.
Like awkward to say it.
Exactly. Yeah. Like just that little shit. I love that about Hokuzono. But I really did like you were saying, Sky, like, oh, these guys are all trained up. They're all powerful dudes. And Hakuri is just like, well, I got bullied a lot when I was a kid. Hey, chat, bring back bullying. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man.
It's like, that
Bring it
isn't
back.
Yeah, like the trauma.
that isn't just this moment. That is this entire chapter of like, yeah, so like if you want to be at this level of a sorcerer here in the Kaminami, you got to learn all this shit. What? Yeah, these people are trained by like 5 years of intense physical fortification. Anyway, abuse and Iso, bye.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that, buddy. Yeah, building Bill's character. Yeah, this is the bullying Bill's character, like you said. Yeah, this is the real shit. This is the real suffering Bill's character. Yeah, man.
Build your defense stats, that's funny.
Exactly, man. This is like some isekai, like, I'm just gonna get beat up a bunch and build up my defense. Like, this is some shit, man. He's game breaking here. I respect it. But I do think it is very funny that, like, okay, we have we have the enchanted blades, and that's more like reliant on feel and stuff like that, and how these people progress as sorcerers. And then Hakuri is like, cool, how do I get stronger? And it's just the Boondocks, read, nigga, read. He's like, I don't want to do all that. So hey man, don't let this man pick up a book now. Don't let this man pick up the good word. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He starts reading up about road, it's over for y'all. You know what I'm saying? That's all I gotta say. That's all that's gotta be. But yeah, I think it's very interesting that Hakuri is put in this situation. I love his little end bit where he blows him away. He's like, I'm one of the core fighters too. Oh, that nigga's nice. Oh, look at my boy. Yeah, I am very excited to see what he can learn from this play, especially because, like, you got some of these crazy powerful sorcerers walking around. Even, like, not even including Azumi, because it seems he's in a tier of his own, and goddamn, that brother is... I don't even think I talked about it last week. A comment brought it up in the post-pod comment section. His fighting style is assault and battery. Nigga, what? Like, what? Whoa! Oh my god! Yeah, so Azumi is just in a different different level right now. So I'm interested to see, maybe Hakuri, maybe he's not like a bookworm sort of guy, but maybe he sees something, he's like, oh, okay, let me try that. And then he does it. Like, that could be really interesting to see. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he pilots through this situation. Really cool shit.
Yeah, I love just his, like, awkward cockiness, too. Because he's, like, sweating bullets, but he's also like, damn, how you gonna cut off my limbs, though? Like...
Oh my god, that shit was so funny. It was genuinely like playground rules where he was like, nuh-uh. Oh my god. Like, what a funny way to show how inexperienced this dork is. Oh my god.
Also, I'm calling it right now. those swords are gonna come back.
Yeah.
He's gonna pull those out at some point.
You think he's gonna pull like a Gilgamesh and just summon them and like throw them at somebody?
That would be pretty sick. Or
That'd
it
be
might
so
be like a
cool.
support thing where he's fighting with someone and he gives them like swords or something. Like it
Oh
could
my
be
god,
something
bro!
like that.
I will fucking my dick will slam through my table if this motherfucker can help somebody like Mifune Infinite style from Soul Eater. Oh my god! Oh, yo, I'm finna go crazy.
I do want to answer a question real quick, actually. Manu is asking, do you guys have any stock on Shiba using only basic teleportation, not having shown his innate sorcery yet? I have seen this discourse today, and I think everyone's saying that, and here's the thing, I could be wrong in the end. I think everyone's saying that is just completely missing the point. They're just completely missing what is going on with Shiba. Because...
Nobody understands Shiba video. In real time.
I honestly, I kind of want to make a video theorizing about Shiba's abilities because I think there's a lot of little hints that happen that really tell the true nature of like what his abilities are. But here's a big thing. He is not using basic teleportation. In fact, everything he's done is... I know I had a thing a while ago where I was, like saying... oh, maybe he has multiple sorcery. I'm not on that shit anymore. I think that I was completely missing the point there. He is not using basic teleportation, and we can tell that because the way it's drawn is different from every other character like doing that. There's the little glitchy kind of effect where it's like how it gets all like kind of rectangular on the edges a bit. You know what I'm talking about? When he teleports.
Yeah. I never even noticed that. Like, it's different. I have noticed that, like, style, but I just assumed, like, that's just, like, the same thing.
It is different, I believe. I mean, if someone wants to, like, pull up a panel, like, somebody, go here and show someone using basic teleportation, they're also doing that, fair enough, I'll back down, but I haven't noticed that happening at all. It is different. And this is a big thing. He was not always able to teleport. So I don't believe that it is a main thing that he can do. Like, I don't believe his sorcery is teleportation. I believe his teleportation is a side thing he's able to do with his sorcery. Because there's a whole thing, when Rokuhira dies, when Kunishiga dies, it says, we are told that it took 10 seconds for Shiba to get there, and in chapter 2, when you see him get there, he is sweating, like he just ran. There is no, like, you don't see the glitch effect around him, there's no, like, indication that he teleported, so I believe he has a core sorcery, and we see him use it when he's torturing the Dharma sorcerer, because you also see that glitch effect around his foot when he crushes it. So there's some kind of like ability he has, and the teleportation seems to be an offshoot thing he figured out how to do with his sorcery because he never wanted to be late again after Kunishiga died. That is what I'm theorizing.
That would make sense.
His sorcery is defined in the nearest volcano. That's what he does.
Yeah. I mean, hey. That would make sense. Yeah.
Now, as to the core nature of what his sorcery is, I mean, I've got some ideas, but that's pure speculation. It's not worth going into here. But yeah. Yeah, maybe some kind of spatial sorcery. That would be cool, right? That would be pretty sick. But yeah, no, he is not using just normal teleportation. Specifically because, like, when all of these, like, basic sorcery have to do with, like, these formulas and, like, these, like, setups that you have to do, what makes Shiba so fucking annoying to fight is he doesn't have to do any of that.
Yeah.
He is like having to fight Minato with, like, no setup, with no prep time.
Bro was not doing math.
Yeah.
Right.
It's also interesting to add on to what you're saying, Zenith, where in this chapter, Kudo was like, you've met the Masumi, right? Like, they're masters in their field. And they was saying, like, Ro, like, the little kid, he's like, damn, he's that much of a badass. Like, he's, you know, reading through all this shit, no problem. The Masumi, they had to lay down shit for a teleportation. And they're like masters of their field. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're the masters and Shiba's just like, hey, see ya, and just teleports, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, no, I think that just makes the most sense. Yeah, someone also bringing up is the Hishaku have, like, flames for their, like, teleportation. Yeah, it seems like some people can just teleport through, like, other sorceries, like, as a byproduct of some other existent sorcery. Like, that just seems to be a thing. We don't know, like, the details of any of that. Yeah, yes, I don't know how to say that person's name. I do think that is why Shiba learned teleportate. I think that was the big deal, which is the irony because, yeah, he is late all the time. Like, he's such a Kakashi type of character for that.
Hey, man.
I think it's cool. But yeah, you know, there's a lot we just don't know about how some of, like, these main fighter sorcery works, and you can just tell, like, Hokuzono is, like, holding on to this information. Yeah, actually, I am really curious about that, Manu. Because we don't know why these people can, like, seemingly all use the pine tree sorcery and the flame sorcery. A possible, I mean, I think a big thing would be it has to do with the flame tattoo. But
I was gonna say,
you know, we haven't seen everyone with the flame tattoo use those sorceries, so maybe that's just like a false, like a red herring connection. It's possible that the ones who can use it, maybe they're just related and they're like a powerful sorcery family. You know, that's another thing. Maybe it has to do, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. It could be really anything. Yeah, sharing sorcery is another possibility. It's really hard to say.
Yeah, the Hishaku are, like, fucking cracked when it comes to sorcery, too. So it could just be they figured out some shit that we haven't. Because they were like, yeah, it takes about, like, 10 years to break through the bond, or the
seal.
The seal on the Shinuchi. And they were like, all right, 3 years later, we got that shit down. It's like, what the fuck? So... yeah, it could just be they figured some shit out. We have no idea yet. I don't know. Maybe they found the true realm of sorcery or some bullshit like that. I don't know. But yeah, it's got some insane possibilities, bro.
Yeah, it's really hard to say with the information we have right now. I do think Hokuzono is doing a really good job of, like, building up these mysteries of, like, what these characters can actually do. It just creates a lot of, like, cool tension for these future matchups, whatever they are. I really want a Shiba versus Yura fight. I think that would go so hard.
That shit, god, even if it's like a confrontation, like a small confrontation or something, that shit would go crazy, bro. God damn, I need that. The streets need that. I guess another thing that I want to say about this chapter, Kagurabachi, I think it's very, I guess fitting is the right term, that we see in this chapter, Shaku, he's the one who's like, all right, you know, so-and-so did their job, you can cut them off now, whatever, like using and manipulating these people by holding their families hostages. I think it's obviously parallels back to Samura. And I think it's interesting that this is happening because it kind of shows that Samura, like, it further removes him from, like, a pedestal in a way. You know, Sky has been a very prominent figure in the, man, this guy is a fucking loser movement.
Boom.
So I think this kind of feeds into that more, where, like, now Samura, it's not just him exclusively, he's just another pawn in the game, which we've already, like, known that, but I think seeing such a stark comparison between all of these guys further drives that home. And I know that Yura brought up, like, oh, you're not with your daughter anymore, that's crazy, because he did want to do the exact same thing to Samura, so I know that's a thing, but I just think it's interesting that we are again further driving this point home, like pulling this guy off his pedestal. He's just another guy in the eyes of the Hishaku. I think it's cool. Do we think Samurai also has the pine sorcery inside him for when he dies? He could. He could. They may have roofied that nigga's drink or something.
If
I
he
will
fell for
say,
that, I swear to
right.
God, if he fell for that, this fucking guy.
I feel like he should be able to detect that by using Owl on himself, though. Because it's like, if it's less spread out, he should be able to, like, detect that type of sorcery, I believe. But maybe not. It's hard to say.
I mean, who knows? Maybe he did and just accepted it. You never know.
That's all possible, yeah. I mean, he plans on killing himself in the end anyway.
Yeah, he's like, so what? I turn into a tree. Who cares? You know, like, to him, he probably doesn't mind that.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Just like the orangutan.
It's possible.
Man, don't skip our intros, man.
Yeah, don't
Please.
skip our intros.
God,
Don't
piss
skip
me
our
off.
intros.
Yeah, do not skip
And
that
don't
shit.
be late. Don't you come in like, oh, well, I had stuff to do. No, you didn't. Thought that was more important than this? I doubt it.
Yeah, man. Come on, dude. Fuck. But yeah, this chapter was really fucking good. Chihiro did think that Yura never used sorcery during their fight. Hey, man. We gonna see. We gonna see.
Which is funny because like he did use sorcery, so it's like he has some insight that I guess we just don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense too. That does make sense.
Like if we had a complete look into Chihido's head, we would already know everything about the enchanted blades, but we don't.
Yeah.
Because he ain't thinking about it, and we ain't seeing the thought bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's holding out on us.
Basically.
That
To be fair, valid reason to hold out fighting samurai. But yeah.
Nah.
Valid
Pain in
reason.
my ass.
Later today in 4 hours, the Kagurabachi fan dub will premiere their assassination arc. Oh, okay, cool.
That's cool.
See.
Oh, I saw this pointed out on Twitter. We got a whole thing about like how last chapter, like Hakudi's sorcery, it's been basically nerfed a bit. You can see cracks in his mask.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so brain damage.
That makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense.
So
Okay.
I'm wondering what that nerf is. Like, can he just store less in his storehouse, or what's
That's
the
what
deal
I
there?
figured. Yeah, like less in a storehouse.
Heartbreaking
Well,
actions have consequences.
Yeah,
right.
His
His
crazy.
ESO is probably a little weaker, so he didn't just annihilate those two guys there.
Yeah, knocked him out instead of killing them.
Right.
Yeah. I didn't even notice that. I thought it was just a byproduct from him eating a vicious knee strike to the domes. I didn't even notice that like when he summoned it. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe his storehouse can't extend indefinitely. True. Or infinitely. Yeah.
That's possible. Yeah, it's so funny because he just eats that knee like he's fine.
Yeah, man. That shit look brutal, man. Oh my god. Hey, the bullying paid off. But
Remember, folks, bring back bullying. That's the official stance of Sailor Space Clout.
Type shit. Some niggas do need to get bullied though. I'm not gonna lie. Some people do. I will stand on that. Some of these niggas are way too comfortable in public saying whatever. Some of y'all need to get punched in the mouth. I will say that. But yeah, that's I'm dead serious. I will stand on that shit.
You hear that?
Some of y'all need to know what it feels like to get your teeth caved in a little bit. Some of y'all do. I ain't gonna lie.
A little bit. It won't hurt no one. It don't hurt nobody. Get a little bit.
It'll hurt you, and that's good. That's the good part. You know what I'm saying? So many in this internet age. Yeah, genuinely in this internet age, a lot of like it's almost become like wrong. It is like frowned upon to understand that your actions could have consequences. Hell no. Some of y'all need to get beat the fuck up. I'm just being real. Some of y'all need to get your teeth caved in. Bite the curb, buddy. Yeah, I'm looking at you. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good chapter. I love me some Kagurabachi, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing what we got next week.
Hell yeah. I'm ready to see my man go out there and win some.
Type shit, man. I hope we see more Azumi too. Azumi's so cool. He's so fucking sick.
Oh yeah, I hope he doesn't get like his fight isn't off screen because
Yeah, man.
really cool.
I'm so fucking ready, man. I'm so ready to see more of him. Holy shit. But yeah. Let us move on to our final chapter of the week here. Let us talk about Dandadan Chapter 195. Fellas, how are we feeling about this one?
Don't you mean in the latest chat after Sharknado?
Yeah, so the latest chapter.
It's really more of a
Sharknado,
hurricane.
Yeah.
Some people
Shark
would say a typhoon.
Sharkfoon. Yeah,
I would actually. That's solid.
I don't
Hey guys,
love the
going to
fact
talk
that
about ZZZ. All right, Sky. I guess we're talking about Zenless Zone Zero. How do you feel about whatever is happening in that game right now?
Wait, I'm almost done with the epilogue. Hold
to
on.
point out is about that. Jesus Christ, it's been a month.
I've been busy.
I don't believe you. It's really cool. 2.0 is coming out. It's
yeah.
gonna be neat. Also, I just want to say I'm not super happy with the fact that Sailor and I said the same thing at the same time, except he was saying it in a nerd voice. Don't
What?
think that reflects super well on me. I was like, it's like a sharkfoon, and you're like, actually, someone say it's a typhoon. I think I just walked traffic on that one.
Yeah, that was not
My bad. It's my bad.
intentions,
It's my
bro.
fault.
That was
I
not
asked
my
for it. I asked for it.
Well, I think it's
No, my
so
attention,
funny because this is a reference to Sharknado, obviously. Like it has to be, right? But like
I thought it was a
It's
reference
so-
to Yu-Gi-Oh! Space Typhoon.
maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
MST, Mystical Shark Typhoon.
Yeah, man, come on.
But it's like in those movies, the sharks are like alive and trying to eat people while they're flying around. I don't know why it's dumb. They're not, they're silly movies.
They're not good.
They're just frozen missiles in this.
They're just
Like,
hunks of
whatever.
frozen meat.
Like the factor of them being a shark does not really fucking matter.
yeah.
Which, like, here's the thing,
Fair.
still scary. Like, go into your freezer and throw whatever frozen piece of meat in there at someone. It probably is gonna hurt,
You should do that. That's
You shouldn't
Zenith
do that.
advocates
That is
No,
the
Zenith advocates
endorsement
that. You should.
of
You heard him
the
here
Slice of
first.
Shonen podcast. That is the official stance.
In this
Mhm.
economy,
It's
that's a flex.
Damn.
Bro,
nigga
in
threw
this
chicken
economy,
at
you
me?
can't even egg people's houses anymore. Like,
Fuck
it's
no,
crazy.
man. Yeah, if I get my house egged, I'm taking that as being called poor. I don't know what else is
Yeah, I'm scraping that off the walls and cooking up breakfast.
Joke's on you, dumbass.
Yeah.
It's my food, baby. Let's go.
This isn't a prank, it's an omelet. Dumb
Type shit. The sharks drowned at the aquarium. That's why they were so easy to freeze. See, this is a guy who doesn't skip our intros. This is that
Thank you
shit
for
right
doing
here.
There from the beginning.
God, thank you, man. Jesus. The strength of 10 men. That's the dude right there, man. Golly. But yeah, I just think it's fucking that one panel. I had to put it in the thumbnail of Vimola just sealing up the hole. That shit was funny. I love that. That's my favorite panel of the week, man. That's that real shit. Yeah, a whole bunch of stuff is going pretty bad right now. I love it. It's so bad that everyone just sits down there like, all right, fucking, let's fly the plane, I guess. Let's stop fighting. That's how you know this shit's rough. But yeah, the objective.
I like the way. Sorry.
I was just gonna say the objective is just to beat up a typhoon, which I think is pretty raw. What were you saying?
I like the when Seiko's like talking about it, she's like, it's not even summer. Typhoons never happen this time of year. Not to mention the sharks. It's like, yeah, that's what I'd start with.
Yeah, yeah, for Seiko, this is probably just like, yeah, this is pretty weird, but like this probably isn't the weirdest thing she's seen like this month.
Yeah.
So she's probably just like, yeah, like she fucking flicks up her glasses like, this is how typhoons are formed and blah 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 blah. It's like, what do we do, Grandma? What do we do? She's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's easy. We beat it up. What? Like, what are you saying to me? So yeah, I think this is pretty funny for her. Yeah, this is a fun chapter. Poor Zuma. Everyone's like, look at all this crazy shit happening. He's like, what's happening? I can't see. It's dark. What's going on?
What do you mean, look?
Yeah, what are we talking about? What's happening? Someone said, help! Help me! Yeah, I think is pretty, I don't think, actually, I was going to say, I don't think he's missing too much, but this is beautiful. I'm not going to lie. Like,
No, this is crazy.
It's pretty beautiful. I'm not gonna seeing all these panels of like the sharks outside and like the clouds and even the typhoon on like, what is it, like the second to last page. It's pretty beautiful. I'm fucking with the artwork a lot.
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah.
one thing that's interesting to note is the fact that we do get an explanation as to what this is. Silly reader, did you think that this phenomenon that has a bunch of like, human body parts flying around was related to that thing that we know about that has human body parts flying around? No, you idiot. It's a typhoon human. Obviously. Fucking what? I have to spell it out for you.
God
Stupid.
damn.
It's a typhoon human. You know.
Yeah.
Fucking
That thing.
moron. Yeah,
Yeah,
come on, bro.
Don't
So,
you know?
yeah. I guess that's what that is. All right,
Yeah.
I trust
Yeah.
you, Don. You wouldn't lie to me. You wouldn't just make some
Yeah, you wouldn't
cryptid up
just make
to
a
fucking
cryptid up.
make me look like a fool.
Well, make me look like a giant moron, would you? Yeah, no.
Yeah, on here, the Slice of Shonen Podcast.
Yeah, I feel like he.
Hallowed be its name.
Hey, man, that's the real shit.
Really, never look like idiots.
Yeah, never. I think it's peak. Shout out to Seiko. She got off her perk 30. She can sense Momo, but like barely. So once again, adding more emphasis as to why we need to get the fuck out of this situation and we need to save Momo immediately, because it's looking pretty bad. It's looking pretty rough. I like this, I guess, almost like a countdown as to, I guess, as it pertains to Momo's situation, because, man, just when things are already bad, like, it just keeps getting worse. Like, Seiko, who's already the best out of all of them when it comes to this sort of stuff, even she's just like, I barely even see you, dog. I'm not gonna lie. It's looking pretty rough, so we got to get out of this situation. Adds to the urgency a lot, which I like. I don't know how we're gonna beat up this typhoon, but we're gonna see. It's gonna be a fun one nonetheless. Do we think that our group and the mole people are going to work together? Sky, I know these are like your favorite characters, so like I'm sure you want to see that too.
I fucking hate these. I hate mole people, and you can take that to the bank. Any mole people in the audience, get out of here. You don't serve your kind around here. Go back into your hole.
Shit.
This is a neighborhood for humans. Not
It sounded like
neighborhood.
Captain America and an X-Men run. Holy shit.
Down.
That's not great.
I hate you. Nope, not gonna say that. You people who dig.
Bro was about to say mole with a hard ER. Oh my god. God damn. Bro got on that
Minor.
drama queen shit. Oh shit. Yeah, get out of here, bastards. Hasta la vista, baby.
100%. Yes, I think that they're gonna work together. I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do in this situation.
Right.
Bro, Granny is gonna
Sorry, there's no
hop out.
dirt for you fucking idiots to eat. So I'm not sure what good you worthless morons are gonna be.
Oh shit! Granny's gonna hop out. She's gonna hit like a crazy pose. I don't know. She shoots a fucking Hadouken or something. I don't know.
I hope that I don't know what the plan is. I hope it involves sacrificing them in a gruesome and bloody manner.
Okay, but to be fair, very fitting how they were sacrificing everyone in their town. So like, hey,
No, absolutely, yeah.
That's
If it's
karma.
like, well, we need a few, because Seiko's plan obviously involves the sharks. Once again,
Somehow.
Yeah.
no idea where it's gonna be. But if it's like, oh, we don't have enough sharks to do this. If only there was some other kind of thick-skinned, fucking big-boned, small-brain-ass creatures that we could throw at this problem. Oh, wait!
Are there any dipshits on this plane? Some real
Yeah,
ugly bastards.
we're out of dipshits. If only there was some more dipshits. Oh,
Some real
wait.
scum of the earth motherfuckers. Are there anyone on this plane?
Truly
who fits that
scum
bill?
of the earth. Scum in the earth.
Yeah,
ass
scum in the
motherfucker.
earth. God. So far up their own
Oh,
ass, they're in the
really?
earth. Is there anybody
Yeah.
in here? Yeah. I
I'd
think
be
it makes
thrilled.
sense. Yeah,
I'd
that'd be
be-
awesome.
Dope.
It's gonna be really cool when we see Seiko like surfing on a shark and she just tosses them in there one by one.
Yeah.
I would fuck with that. That'd be a pretty good way to stop it. You gotta slow it down somehow.
My dream is that it's, Gigi's especially has to be the one that tosses the last one in. But they're like, oh, remember how we took good care of you? And he's like, Kamehameha. Get typhoon. Here's the rest of my rent.
Oh my god. Yeah.
I forgot these motherfuckers are landlords too. Kill them. Oh, kill them.
That's a times 10 stat boost of hatred, bro. Holy.
Kill them.
Ooh,
I need them
kill 'em.
dead. I need their prairie holes flooded. I need them dead.
Oh my god, bro. Holy shit. Yeah, shouts out. Hope they die. Gruesome.
No
painfully.
mercy.
God, man. Hopefully they die brutally, painfully, excruciatingly, agony, with pure agony, all that shit. You
I
guys gonna
believe
talk
in a
about
kind
solo
and
leveling?
gentle
What do you
world, and that means that they have to die to make it a reality. Sorry.
mean? For those of us on land, not beneath
Mhm,
it.
yeah.
You guys gonna talk about solo leveling winning anime awards? Personally, I think that is a great advancement for the sleeping aid pharmaceutical industry. I mean, I
Here's
haven't
the
watched
thing.
Solo Leveling's anime. I've read it, not all of it, but I've read it. It's fine. Yeah, it looks
Yeah.
like a fun action series. Like the anime looks like the clips that I've seen, it looks fun.
Yeah. Solo leveling, because the anime is at the best part of the series right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Or
And
like it did the best part.
Yeah.
Like when it's, I don't think anyone would truly argue like, oh, Solo Leveling is a super like complex, well-written series. It is, I think, particularly at the beginning, I think it deserves a tad bit more credit than it gets. And I said at the beginning. But I do believe that it's fine. It's
Yeah. I think it is a fun
it's a
power
big
fantasy sort of
movement
series.
it's a big movement in the society, because the
Yeah.
same way, when the manhwa was coming out, like it was that shit was moving
It's
continents.
huge. It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I
So
will
it's
say,
only-
I think after
think?
the
Oh, I'm
the
sorry,
ant arc, I found it really boring.
go ahead.
yes, no, it falls
because
off.
it just
I think that
it
may
just
have been
gets
around
to
when I
a point
stopped.
where a lot
It was.
happens and the personal stakes just aren't really there, so it's not interesting to watch. It's just, and this
Hmm.
probably won't be an issue with the anime adaptation as things continue. The action, like I forget what's the word for it. Would it be? It's a manhwa, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I thought so. I don't know why the artist at that point, like past the ant arc, loves using motion blur effects. And it just made fights annoying to read. I don't know why.
That's like when
they did that.
when I'm in paint.net and I discover a new tool, I spam that in like the next week's worth of thumbnails.
I feel that.
Yeah,
It is-
buddy.
It just makes them not as cool to look at as previous fights, in my opinion. And I don't know, things just got boring. You get these like massive lore drops that don't like really expand on like, oh my god, this really answers questions I've been having for so long. It's just like, wow, those are some questions I should have been having.
Yeah, wow, I care about that.
And it's, I don't know, solo leveling is at its best when it's being either really cool or like when it's early on when you can really sympathize with Sung Jin-woo's situation, kind of like him having this like underdog status as he has to grow in strength. And then it loses that underdog status, so it's very like aura farmy, but like it's really good at being cool. And then I think it just kind of goes through the motions after a certain point, and it just isn't as fun for me. I'm sure the anime is gonna do the fights really well, and I'm sure, you know, it'll have that same motion it's been having. Because I mean, look, people like their easy to watch action series like that. That's fine. Like I have no issue with that. I'm not gonna pretend that like I wasn't going crazy for the fights when Shibuya was going on. It's like, yeah, Shibuya and JJK has a good
so
story,
fucking good.
but like, let's be real. That's not what like all the clips on Twitter were. The clips on Twitter were the cool ass fights. Like it is the sick action and animation is what has motion at the for the most part.
Sakuna
Like,
versus Jogo was so goated. Oh my god.
Right? Like that is just how it is. And it is what it is. When people are like, how do you feel about Solo Leveling winning the anime awards? I do not care. Like,
yeah, maybe it's just because I don't care about the anime awards in general.
Right? Like I'm seeing a lot of complaining.
It's like something you gotta, something you gotta consider, especially for the anime awards, because it's it's not the Oscars. It is.
Hell, even the Oscars don't really matter.
Yeah, none of it matters. Let's be so fucking for real. Very little of it matters. But it's like the anime awards is like a public voting thing completely.
Yeah.
And so it's like, what's the best anime of the year? Well, it's not what it is. It's what was the most popular anime.
What's the most popular? Exactly.
And truly, there is no series that has been uproariously popular that was truly without merit. There have been ones where it was pretty devoid on merit, for certain. I Sword Art Online.
Damn.
Hey, way in the back. But even then, there's good stuff in Sword Art Online. It's just that there's a lot of the environments and the culture that of the general anime viewing population plays a huge part. Back then, when SAO came out, it was still just growing. So there's a lot of people who haven't been exposed to a lot of the cliches and the tropes of anime, so seeing them all for the first time, the skepticism that would normally get in the way isn't present, so you can just enjoy it for what it is, and there is some good stuff in SAO. Like base SAO, first season shit.
I'd say all of SAO, really.
There's always... There's a lot of cool stuff. Later on, SAO, I think, does just become, like, good. Like War of the Underworld. That's good.
Yeah.
Just good show. And Solo Leveling right now, I think the fact that it won is very indicative of the fact that the general population currently does have a pretty strong bias towards hype moments in aura.
Also, I think, like, there is a big thing that, like, because here's the thing. If you are the type of person, and I want to get it across real quick, this is not an insult, because we are on this podcast, but if you are like the type of person to like watch a podcast or watch videos or go on social media and consume content about the quality of something's writing, you do not represent the average consumer.
Yeah.
The average consumer is not consuming things analytically, and that is just how it is. I see this a lot because I watch a lot of movies, so I see a lot of this with, like, film social media, where, like, oh my god, how did this movie make so much money? And it's because, like, they're thinking about it in terms of the perspective of someone who thinks about movies that way. When most people are going into the theater and watching any dog shit and thinking, wow, that was a good movie, and then they go on with their day without thinking about it ever again. That
people went and saw Megalopolis,
Yeah. I was gonna say it's a similar thing for like something like basketball, where now we're about to have for the first time in NBA history, we're about to crown a 7th new champion in 7 years. And before, it was more so like we would have new champions, but like you'd have these dynasties rule over the league, and that was something that people really liked. But now you have like different teams winning every year, and that's not something that people can attach themselves to as much. And that can be a whole other problem with like how the sport is just presented to casual fans, which is by people who fucking hate it, which sucks. But like a big thing,
the predominant fan base, people who despise it. That's how everything works.
Genuinely,
Yeah.
motherfuckers, like some of the best basketball is being played right now, and they're just like LeBron James or Michael Jordan, who better? Nigga, there was a fucking conference finals game last night.
You're living in the fucking past.
Talk about that. My God, bro. Like, bro, this historically, like, no joke, this historically great team is on pace to win a championship, and they just got the dog shit smacked out of them. You think they would talk about that, and they're just like, nah. Who better between Bron and Jordan? Shut up! Oh my God, bro!
Just
like,
say you're not a basketball fan. You're a Space Jam fan.
yeah, but that's the thing that appeals to genuinely. That's the thing that appeals to a bunch of casual people. Like they don't think about it. Just like, oh my God, this person just dropped like 40 points. Oh my God, they're phenomenal. They'll be like, oh no, this person sucks because like they're not Jordan though, or they're not Bron though. Shit like that.
Yeah.
So it
And,
really is like a difference in how you view things.
My point is that if, there's nothing wrong with it, but like if you're like, oh my God, how the hell did Solo Leveling win Anime of the Year? That perspective comes from being in a bubble. And there's nothing wrong with that, but you do gotta recognize the bubble you're in. That like you are surrounding yourself with a very particular type of discussion that does not represent the average person. And that's like, that's fine. I'm here. I'm on this fucking podcast talking about how fucking awesome Kagurabachi is for the, let's see, what chapter we're on? 80th chapter in a row.
Yeah.
Hell
So,
yeah, let's
like,
make it to 100.
It be what it be. That's totally fine. We got our interests, but like we gotta recognize that most people aren't us.
And that, and like, to me, again, maybe it's just because I don't really care about the anime awards, but also, man, Frieren pisses and shits on Solo Leveling for me, so like I don't even care. Like, it's so obvious. Frieren is like so much better than Solo Leveling. That it's like, oh, Solo Leveling won. I don't care. Like, I don't really care that much.
It is what it is.
Yeah, that's like one of the bigger things for me. It's like, man, Frieren is so fucking phenomenal. I love that series so much. And it's just like, oh, well, it lost. It's like, it's fine. It's still like,
Yeah.
we all know it's still better.
Mhm.
But yeah, I guess that's our talk on the anime awards. I'll have to add a timestamp for that. Are you calling a special?
So,
yes, you are special in a good and bad way.
Now that we're finished, ragging on why the anime awards don't matter, Crunchyroll, by all means, invite us.
Yeah, man, fucking get us up there.
We'll bring in the hard-hitting commentary that your shows need. All right. Hey,
man.
I know I just went on a whole rant on how I want to exterminate all mole people. You can trust me with a live microphone. All right, you can.
Yeah, man. Nah, that's some real shit. Fucking invite Megan Thee Stallion back, and then have me co-host with her. Cause God, that woman is so beautiful. God, that woman is so gorgeous. Holy.
At least I'm trying to maintain a pretense.
I'm not. I love you, Megan Thee
Control
Stallion.
yourself,
I love
man.
you. Yeah, man. Hey, let me get up there. Listen, you want to look at it from a pure, anime perspective and not goddamn Megan Thee Stallion. You're so gorgeous. Listen, man, let me up there. We gonna have a real session about Road, man. We gonna preach the good word, and that's what these people need.
He hasn't even shown up in the anime yet.
Bro, it's important to like get people's toes wet. You know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, that's crazy. Let me take that back.
At least he got it this time.
Anyway,
I think that kind of exhausts all of our conversation at that point.
Cut the feed. Go to commercial.
Oh shit!
So make your website shine with Squarespace.
Yeah. Shout out Squarespace, man. Shout out Squarespace. Shout out Crunchyroll. Get us up there, man. Please.
yeah, sponsor us.
Yeah, man. Do it, please. But yeah, that's
Shadow
about
Raid
all.
Shadow.
Yeah, Raid Shadow Legends. Fucking give me some ZZZ code so I can give to my friends. Give me fucking give me that sponsor too. Give me all the sponsors, please. We deserve it. But yeah, anyway, that's all I gotta say about Dandadan. Clearly, we're talking about other shit. Is there anything else you guys wanted to say before we move on? Get out of here.
I think that's everything I got.
All
Well,
right.
Actually, I
man.
didn't really say much of anything for Dandadan because there's really not much I can say about this chapter yet.
Yeah, this chapter's ass. You heard it here first. Surfshark VPN, guys. Absolutely. Hey, I'm streaming right now with my Surfshark VPN on. Hey, Surfshark.
Sponsor us.
Sponsor us right now.
Sponsor us. Get on that train.
Sponsor us right now, please. Thank you.
We have
but
consistent viewership on a regular basis.
We
True.
can be trusted.
we can be trusted. Yes, trusted.
Right.
I'm kind of
Oh,
surprised that how consistent
so-
it was for today. Usually people drop off for
Yeah.
Dandadan, but hey, thank y'all for sticking around.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they
Speaking
know
of
who the
which-
real enemy is.
Go ahead, Silver.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm just gonna say, closing out and speaking of Dandadan, it looks like we are actually going to be on break for it this week, so we're just going to be left with the other three next week. That's all I just wanted to say.
Okay. Let me read the donations before we get out of here. Which ones did I not read? I know I didn't read this one. I forgot about them, to be honest. Let me see. Okay. Shout out to Weary Exile for the donation. That's why he said it. He said, I'm leaving here with something. Hold on. Hey, I respect it. Hey, I respect it. You donated, make sure that shit's read out. I respect that. Saying it's good to be back on Ensemble of Tardiness Pod. Bro, we were on time. Fuck, we're on time. Listen, it's just you guys who are late. That's the fucked up part. And then shout out to Joseph Johnson for the donation, saying solo leveling is mid at best, but a manhwa winning anime of the year paves the way for others like Tower of God to get better adaptations. I got some bad news for you, buddo. That shit not happen. No, I'm kidding. I hope Tower of God gets some better ones. I personally, I'm a, be real. I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. I don't give a shit about Tower of God. It's not for me, but I know it's very popular. I know a lot of people care about it. So I'm hoping it does get the treatment and respect it deserves. I'm
I
hoping
do
it
love
gets
Tower
some
of God.
Dreams have already been crushed when it comes to manhwa adaptations.
Listen, man, reboot God of High School. We're cooking. We'll save the entire industry.
Look, dude, if God of High School had to be shot out back so that the breaker could run, so that the breaker could be free, I would literally pull the trigger myself.
Oh my. Sorry, buddy. All you get is the windbreaker. Thanks. I hear that show is also really good. I should probably check that one out.
I like Windbreaker.
Hey, man. Shouts out to Windbreaker, man. Well, now Tower of God won't sponsor you. Bro, Krog. They'll sponsor us.
Oh
for
no,
keeping it real.
they won't sponsor us with one of the 1 fucking million mobile games they have.
Infinite money
The
glitch going
crossovers they be
crazy.
doing, yeah, nah, I think I'll be fine.
Hey, speaking of mobile games, Fate sponsor us, man. What the fuck are you doing? Get on board.
Oh my
man.
god, you don't even understand. Fate, FGO, fucking Type Moon, anyone. Listen, you don't even have to pay me. Just give me permission to talk about Musashi. Oh my god.
True. Listen, man. That's all we need, man.
I will fill the podcast by myself.
We're just gonna have a Sky ISO pod, and he's just gonna do the whole thing. We're gonna break it all down.
Mhm. Yeah,
I
it'll
think
be
that'd be
me
real.
the entire time, and then at the very end, somebody will, like, just what, like, Taco's like, Yeah, she's aight.
Yeah, she's cool, I guess. But yeah, with all that being said, we're getting the mother F out of here. Let us know down below what your favorite chapter of the week was. Doesn't have to be anything we covered here on the pod. It could be Blue Lock, Blue Box, Kill Blue, Grand Blue, Blue Beetle, Kane Banashi, Ichi the Witch, New Ways Bestersis, fucking anything, man. Let us know down below. With all that being said, we're getting out of here. I'm going to try to watch Combo Breaker. And I'm going to try to watch Game 3 of Knicks versus Pacers. That's just going to be so peak. Goodbye. Mwah! And good night. Bang.